Hey guys, this is P.M.R.Bonez88, and today for my special Halloween horror movie review that I'll be talking about today is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. So this third film came out on February 1987, and ever since for the second film of Nightmare 2, Freddy's Revenge, there has been some mixture reviews about that film, and apparently it was confusing, and a lot of fans were very disappointed. And to me, I was not just disappointed about the second film, it was also it was very confusing. And like I said on my last review of Freddy's Revenge, it was okay, but technically it wasn't really a good nightmare movie. But that's why the reason why Freddy was in the real world, and that's why it was confusing, because I couldn't tell if it was a dream sequence or a real world sequence. So I really liked the third film, and now with the cast member returning, which are Heather Langenkamp playing as Nancy Thompson, John Saxon playing as Nancy's father, and now he's a security guard. And let's not forget the most biggest popular star ever, Robert Englund, playing as Freddy Krueger. Now, Wes Craven returned to write the script for Nightmare 3, and in case you're all wondering, he also directed the first Nightmare movie, just to point it out. So he started to write the script, and he wanted to make it much more darker and more gory from the first film, but that's how Wes Craven is. He wants to go back in his dark roots, especially for Nightmare 3. But unfortunately, New Line Cinema rejected the storyline and the script because, according to what they said, it was too dark, which that didn't really make no sense. But it's Hollywood. There's nothing you can do about it. They recruited a new director called Chuck Russell and a new scriptwriter named Bruce Wagner. Which Chuck Russell is also a familiar director, that he directed so many films, including the 1994 comedy classic, The Mask. Bruce Wagner began rewriting the script, and it turned out to be just as dark as ever. To me, in my opinion, in Nightmare 3, it is dark. So I'm not really going to tell you like the whole story plot of Dream Warriors. Just a little bit, some skimming story plot about it. So the movie starts out a group of teens that go into Winston Hills, and basically they are the last of the Elm Street children. And the protagonist, Kristen Parker, who's played by Patricia Arquette, she's also the heroine, and plus she also has been aided by Nancy Thompson. So the group of teens, they have like serious dream problems or suicidal issues of their own because of the dream stalker Freddy Krueger. Now, with the group of teens, they have these special powers, in which that's how they become the Dream Warriors to fight against Freddy. Will has the ability that he could finally walk, his legs are strong, and his dream power that he is the Wizard Master. Taryn's power that she is very beautiful and she's bad. Kincaid has the power of super strength. Kristen's power that she can be athletic, that she has the ability just to flip back. And Joey's power has the ability to scream when he screams out, "No!" Well, technically I'll show you the clip because he does it much more better than I do. No! Now, when everyone tells you that when someone screams like that, really, really loud, really hurts people's ears too, especially mine. Like, damn. Now, one of my favorite parts are when Freddy just turns into this supernatural live puppet, and then he grows into his normal size, and where he like torments Philip and makes him as a puppet. That he just like cuts both his arms and his legs, use his arteries as strings. It was so gory and very graphic just to see him like moving, like being controlled by Freddy. you could definitely tell that you could definitely tell how much he felt like so much in pain, even when he was sleepwalking. That was like so like effective, like super effective, going right through the door, right to the wall without even like opening the door, because he is sleepwalking, but he's really dreaming and being tormented by Freddy. Now another scene where Taryn faces off Freddy in a one-on-one knife-to-knife combat. It was a great fight between those two, but I wish they could have done like more fights of the two, because I love how Freddy and Taryn just fight off between knife fights. That was a great scene ever. And especially where he just like, where his hand just like turns into drug shots. And the best quote ever where he said was, "Let's get high." At that point where he just says all the quotes, that he became an icon. So at that point he just starts out becoming like this whole new different Freddy, between the different, like every different of his characteristics, including where he now becomes a jokester, well, much more of a trickster and a jokester, because everything what he says, everything where he just like becomes as a funny character, not like the darking slasher, Springworth slasher that he used to be in the first film, but he pulled it off. And that's how I like about Robert Englund, that where he always plays as Freddy. He's a lovable character, like I said before. And another thing, that they did a music video which was played by Duncan. They sing the song of Dream Warriors. That point, that music became high rocketing, rock and roll, heavy metal. And that's another thing. I even have the music of Dream Warriors. It's just like singing the song over and over. I could just play it on my iPod. And another song from in the intro of Into the Fire, which was played by the same rock band, Duncan. At that point on, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors became my most favorite of all the Nightmare series. Not even to mention that it's probably one of my most favorite sequels, besides the first film. I think every order that I loved about the Nightmare series, and I love Freddy so much, and I'll just like put in the list of number 1, Dream Warriors, number 2, The Dream Master, which some people like this fourth film, but technically they dislike it. But to me, I love it. New Nightmare, the first one, and lastly, The Dream Child, which nobody didn't like it. I however did, so you don't like it, oh well, tough. And like I said, the visual effects were great, including with the mirror, that there were all these Freddys there just like popping out of nowhere. That was great too. Even the stop motion animated, where Freddy just like turned into a skeleton, or actually he just possessed his own body as a skeleton and just fight off with Neil and Nancy's father. That was a great sequence, and including how they ended it and they killed off Freddy, where Neil just like buried his bones and used the holy water at him. That could have been a great climactic ending of bringing like all the Nightmare trilogies. That could have been a great ending, but they kept on going on, and Freddy just like keeps living forever. So just to rate this film, for Nightmare 3, I would have to give it a best 90 out of 100. Great sequel, and great for bringing Freddy back in just to kick some ass, including with all the children, the last of the Elm Street children that are now becoming Dream Warriors, and thanks to Heather Langenkamp returning and John Saxon returning. I really love this film, and it's one of my favorites, and I could watch this over and over again. And I do own this movie on Blu-ray and DVD. And this is P.M.R.Bonez88 signing off. His saying is, peace!
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.